Hello everyone, welcome back to round number two, and we won the die roll, and I am on the play. And this hand is a little loosey-goosey. Servant of the Scale is not a very powerful creature. Death Mist is great, but Aspect of the Hydra isn't that great when we have so many lands in our hand, but I still think we have to keep it and just hope we draw some gas along the way. I know last round we kept a land heavy hand and we ended up flooding out a bit, and that kind of cost us, but hopefully here that's not the case. And I'm just going to start by fetching and just try to get as many fetches out of our deck as we can. And we'll see what our opponent is up to. Dismal Backwater, so blue-black control. Drawing a land here, not great, but it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, well, either I guess we're probably losing a Death Mist Raptor here, but that's not the worst thing in the world. We do have a lot of ways to get that back into play, and our opponent's deck's gonna be very slow, so we should probably have time to get to there. But right now we are in not great shape. Thoughtseize was not the best, and we drew another land, so not good for us either. And I'm gonna play this even though he doesn't know about it, just because I just want to fetch and draw as few lands as we can. So we'll go ahead and fetch in our upkeep here. And our opponent is now. We know that our opponent is playing Esper now. Oh, man. Alright. I could really go for not drawing a land at some point in time, but I guess that might be too much to ask. And our opponent has another scry. This is really bad. Oh, we drew a creature. I guess we'll get Swordwise here. And our opponent probably doesn't have Foul Tongue Invocation since Swordwise Centaur was allowed to resolve. There's probably like a downfall or something. Maybe not. At least if our opponent just plays Ojutai here, they can't block when we attack since Aspect would kill the Ojutai. So that is a reassuring thought. But, okay, so not Ojutai. Boon Satyr would be a phenomenal draw. I'll throw that out there. Or some sort of creature. Bileblade, Swordwise Centaur. Well, I don't see a better use for this Aspect of the Hydra, so we'll go ahead and do that. Fire that off. Den Protector. Dang it. Den Protector would have been phenomenal there. If our opponent has any kind of counter spells, we're probably not winning, but let's see. This is probably Silumgar the Drifting Death. Yeah, this really feels like a Silumgar the Drifting Death. Yep. Den Protector. Well, let's see. Aspect. No. It doesn't do anything for us here, so we'll just have to let Silumgar kill our Servant of the Scale. Oh, no attacks, okay. Den Protector. Oh, nope. This is sad news for us. Hopefully, Dig Through Time's not in our future, but yeah, it definitely is. Uh, Alright. We will go ahead and servant up our Swordwise Centaur. And oh, Boon Satyr is not the worst. If our opponent has nothing, he's dead, but I don't for a second believe that to be true. Downfall. Okay. No, another dig. Uh, oh, let's just get a Boon Satyr out there when that happens. Play around a counter spell. Oh, I should have let the dig resolve first before I played Boon Satyr. That was super loose of me. Might have affected the cards that our opponent took with their dig. Downfall again. And we're really in a dire straits here, so not good for the home team. But we will hopefully rattle off a couple of powerful ones in a row. I guess a couple, like 2 or 3 Den Protectors in a row, and we could be back in this game. This deck is just. Oh, I should have cast it in response, but I don't think it matters. But this deck is just really not very well set up to draw this many lands. Like this is a deck that just you can't afford to flood out with a deck like this, and unfortunately that's kind of been what's happening for us. So, um, yep, we're just dead. That these 2 dragons are going to kill our creatures, so we definitely can't win anymore. Alright, well that's annoying. We're going to bring in Guiles again because our opponent's going to have a lot of removal spells, so we do want to be able to protect them with Ranger's Guile. Mist Cutter as well, they're going to have a lot of counter spells. And now we have to figure out what we're going to cut. Servant of the Scale, I don't like this card, and we're going to cut that. And Become Immense, again, the same reason we cut it before. I don't want to try to rely on pump spells against a deck that's gonna have a lot of removal. So for that same note, we can probably actually trim on an aspect of the Hydra as well. We don't want to. Our opponent doesn't have that many creatures, and we don't want to draw too many of these. We want to just draw a lot of creatures for the most part. In fact, we can actually probably cut. We're gonna want to keep at least like one of them in. And let's see, we have to cut another card too. I think I want to cut one Surak because he's just really slow and sometimes ineffective against strategies like that. So I think we want to cut Surak, and I think that's it. And we'll try this out. Alright, we do only have 22 lands, so it is. Alright, we'll keep this hand. We need to draw one more land for this hand to really kick, for these Boon Satyrs to do work. So I'm going to actually lead with Forest over Wooded Foothills because I want to draw more lands, so I don't want to fetch and thin my deck a little bit. Okay, we drew another land. That's cool. Let's get this Avatar out there. And if our opponent, doesn't Bioblade it, okay, cool. So now we're cooking with gas here. We have drawn the amount of lands that we want to have drawn, and now Boon Satyr is just the perfect card here because our opponent can't Silumgar Scorn or Boon Satyr, and if they try for a removal spell, we can hit them with my favorite Street Fighter character, Ranger's Guile. Which is not true. I think E Honda has a special place in my heart, but whatever. This feels bio-blighty. Nope. Anticipate? Okay, no. Alright. Oh, there's Urborg. We're just gonna fetch anyway, because why not? And just throw this guy out there. Boon Satyr. If he wants to counter this, then I can jam Nasty down his throat. Nope, cannot pay for Silumgar Scorn. Alright, so he did counter it, and now that is a perfect time to, quote, jam Nasty down his throat. Nasty Siraxty. So, yeah, we'll just, we'll Just shove in for 8 there. Just a casual 8. Seems good. It's probably a removal spell for Nasty Siraxty. Maybe a Thoughtseize, a Bioblade. Okay, well, yeah, let's just go ahead and cast this and go to combat, give it haste, and kill our opponent. That was a delight. Alright, sometimes it's as easy as that. Your opponent just doesn't have the right cards, and they get Nasty Siraxtied. Just how we drew it up. Alright, now we're on the draw, and hmm, you know, maybe yeah, we definitely need some amount of. I'm just thinking maybe like Servant of the Scale is actually not that bad because it really messes up a Foul Tongue Evocation, but I don't know. I don't know if I really want to mess with that too much. I think we're just gonna stick with this same setup. Well, this hand's a tilt. I'm gonna keep it though. We're bad off if we draw more lands, but again, we don't have that many lands in our deck, and we do have a good curve. And well, obviously we drew a land, but that's man, this is so frustrating. All right, not a land, thank God. Let's fetch again. Maybe all this fetching will make our opponent think we're super land light. We're probably gonna get scorned, yeah. Oh well, not much we can do about that. Ashiok. Well, that's really bad news for us. Hmm. Alright, well, our plan's the Boon Satyr, but I'm fine waiting to the end of his turn because if he counters it, then I can just play a Surak. Our opponent does get to put Avatar the Resolute into play. And we'll simply cast this. You know, we have not been drawing very many Death Mist Raptors or Den Protectors, which is really frustrating. Alright, so we got scorned again, but that's fine. Alright, Mistcutter would not be big enough, so we'll just play Surak. Alright, there's a Den Protector that's gone. Let's see what we've got exiled. Wow, alright, a lot of bad cards, so not unhappy about that. And let's see. Boon Satyr. Boon Satyr is a respectable draw. It does trade with this thing, though. Hmm. I want to cast Reverend Hunter, but if our opponent just kills our Surak, it's just kind of bad for us. I guess I'll just cast a Mistcutter for 4 here. Because then next turn I can go like Satyr, Reverend Hunter. Yeah, so we'll cast Mistcutter for 4. Can't be countered, and hopefully we'll get this Ashiok off the board. Sure, we'll give haste. And we'll send both at Ashiok. Alright. It's probably a Bioblade in our future here. Okay, yeah. Honestly, that's a great trade though. It's still a decent trade for us. And our opponent just fetched and failed to find. Does that mean that their hand is island plains? Oh, they don't have a plains. So it probably means they have an island. And man, we are losing a lot of really crappy cards to this Ashiok, so that is pretty good. Ooh, Death Mist is sweet. I don't want to get. Uh, let's go ahead and cast this face down to start a turn off. That way it entices a counterspell, thinking maybe a Den Protector. When it's actually a Death Mist Raptor. Okay. And let's attack Ashiok. And now I don't actually want to play either of these because I don't want to overextend into like a Crux of Fate. And I'm pretty sure a Crux maybe would have happened there. So I'm actually just gonna I'm gonna jam this Boon Satyr out there and just try to slam home for a bunch. Cancel. And I'll leave these two guys back as like a follow-up play in case we get wrathed. Alright. Our opponent probably just has nothing, to be honest. Which means we probably could have won. Yeah, however we did it. Alright, well, we ended up winning. Our opponent's draws were pretty bad. Let's see what we would have drawn. Ooh, Guiles. Some sweet old Guile action. Guiley action. So we ended up winning the two post-board games here. And, yeah, Mistcutter seems sweet. I don't know what our opponent had. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. It seemed like our opponent's draws were pretty weak. We kept a pretty land heavy hand, but we drew all gas after that point, which was sweet. And our opponent's Ashiok exiled a lot of very bad cards, which was nice. So we are now 1-1. Hopefully you'll stick around for round 3, and we're gonna try to claw our way back to a 3-1 with this Mono G beatdown deck.